So we're all concerned about warfare, right? We're concerned about the war. The truth is that World War III has been going on since, the last 3 years. Just happens to be that Russia's the first one to actually drop bombs. And it's kind of primitive. The rest of the world has been fighting this war with propaganda and biology. Throwing bombs around seems kind of primitive in comparison. But let me look into these waters and see what the Lords of Chaos have to say regarding this war. First thing I see is a panther, a large cat, a large black cat. Its eyes are glowing and it seems to have sparks in its mouth. It might be cat-like, but it seems to be a dragon. Welcome, Eva. I'm really glad to see you here in the stream. Waiting for this war? I hope it'll be enough. I hope it'll be big enough. I'm going to do my best to give you a raid on Saturday if I have more than 2 viewers. I mean, I always have more than 2 viewers, but not on Twitch. Twitch is the slowest of all my platforms. It's difficult for me to make sense of what's going on here in the waters, but it looks like this dragon creature is turning its face. It's looking at something. I see the moon rising or setting. It's definitely rising over a body of water. And there seems to be a shadowy creature standing on the edge of the water. And the dragon is looking at this shadowy creature. It's the figure of a man, like a silhouette of a human, dressed in robes. The dragon is coiling and turning himself. It's almost like he's trying to intimidate the man instead of just attack him. Set. He has many names. In Egypt he was called Set. In Greece he was called Eris, or she. In Hebrew mythology he was called Leviathan. There seems to be a second figure that's appeared, much closer to the dragon's head. He has a rod in his hand, and he's almost like poking the dragon with the rod. The rod creates sparks every time that it strikes the dragon. The dragon is now eating this man. He's opened his mouth and seems to be closing around the man, swallowing him. The first man who was at the edge of the waters is still there. Welcome, Lisa Harvey. We are gazing into the scrying waters, into the black waters, to see what they have to tell us about this ongoing warfare. So far we've seen two men standing at the edge of a water, confronting a dragon. The dragon was trying to intimidate the first man. The second man decided to poke the dragon, and now he's being eaten by the dragon. Oh wow, okay, these symbols, they have a lot of meaning to me. The dragon is It's not a nation, it's not Russia. It's a unification of nations. It's like NATO. I'm not so certain who the first man is that the dragon tries to intimidate. But the second man who pokes the dragon is Russia. So that's what has happened here. The unified nations, or the unified power, has tried to intimidate two other nations. One of them stood his ground. The other one retaliated, attacked that union. That was Russia bombing Ukraine. And now the dragon is in the process, that union is in the process of devouring that nation. And not through warfare. Not by breathing fire. Literally devouring it. The way that the UN and the rest of the world has sensationalized this war and has put everybody on the side of Ukraine. Literally, you can't go on social media without seeing some prompt to donate to the war efforts in Ukraine, particularly to Ukraine, not to Russia. The entire globe is being turned against Russia in an attempt to devour them politically, not through warfare. Does anybody have any idea who the first man is? Because it seems like this conflict was not started because NATO threatened Russia. NATO threatened someone else. I don't know who Baba Vaga is, unfortunately. Israel as the first man. Very, very likely. So if it's not NATO, who do you think it is? What do you think it is? It's not one. It's not a man. This dragon has a life of its own. It's something created by men, or something that men have given power to, that has taken a life of its own. A movement yet to fully awaken. Let's have more clarity. The dragon, it kind of has cat-like features, but its eyes gleam, and it has a long... It has like a dragon-like tail, but it looks very feline. Its eyes gleam white. It is red. It has like a red stripe down the front of its nose and red on its head, but it's mostly black apart from that. Give us more clarity into who or what this dragon is. numbers here add up to 9. So you're right, the first thing that says to me is that this thing is sleeping. It's hermiting, it's isolated. I have no doubt that you're right, Eva. Red stripe like that on forehead and over its hair is an old Vedic practice for married women, I believe. That is very interesting to take into consideration. I do feel like the symbols of the color is specifically to do with my associations to those colors and patterns. The cat, the feline, it's a symbol of the heart. And the dragon of the heart is resentment and hatred. Red corresponding with passion, passionate vengeance because of betrayal. The dragon is born of betrayal, in other words, but this diecast is saying to me that the dragon is isolated and hermited and has been so until recently. It's about to awaken, it's about to come out of its hermitage. What else that has to say to me is that it's been planning for a long time. So these draconic vibes, I know them well. I often see myself as having those draconic vibes. I lay still. I lay still and I observe from one place, and I alter reality from one position. I create realities and change them. And sometimes I see there are resistances to the reality that I'm creating. And I see, okay, over here I'm going to have to go and influence this individual, or I'm going to have to go here and make a change, or I'm going to have to do that in order to make this reality click into place. But I'll continue to build my reality and make my plan, and then when I get up to move, it is a strategic and deliberate effort from point A to B to C to make those changes to ensure that the reality aligns the way I've seen it. So this number is saying that this dragon has been waiting for a long time. It's been creating its effort, it's been sowing its seeds and investing its energy. And it's right at the end of that now. It's ready to step, it's ready to wake up and move to its various points to click all those variables into place in order to make sure that its will is accomplished. Where are my runestones? Do I have here the Earthstone? No. I have here the Waterstone. No. Water. This is saying that it likes to play on emotions. It likes to manipulate the masses through emotions, stirring their emotions. These two white dice add up to 6. That's about connection, overcoming its limits through connection, through interaction, relationship, alliance. And it manipulates those connections, those relationships, and those alliances through emotion. By stirring up the right emotion, pressing the right emotional buttons, inspiring just the right amount of hatred. Water is it's a very chaotic element. It's influenced by many variables. The moon decides its tides and its currents, the sun as well. It waxes and wanes, in other words. Well, what I'm getting from this is that how we can identify this dragon that Rush is picking on is by looking for these things. We can anticipate the dragon is going to get up and move very strategically and very precisely, clicking certain variables into place, moving between them very quickly. A lot of shit is going to happen once it wakes up, in other words. You're going to hear one thing after another, and it's all going to be linked to the same body, the same organization. Emotional manipulator. If we see people, or we see systems or structures or nations manipulating people emotionally, playing with their emotions to get them to choose sides or whatever, or to take a certain action, particularly where it comes to vengeance and hatred. That will help us identify the dragon. But anyway, thank you guys. Thank you for sticking around and watching my stream. Thank you so much, Eva, for your support and the raid you sent the other day and the tip you sent.